hyperarousal or hypoarousal. So things like anxiety or depression, or like mostly this is sort of laid out to help people that can't think straight at the time, because you know most of us know to do all the things that are suggested here, but you kind of forget in the moment, so you kind of need somebody to point it out to you, which in this case is past us, pointing it out to future us. I want to say a big thank you to the noodle system and to the wind type chime system, and for everyone that was a part of that Zoom call, really, because we wouldn't have thought of doing this video if not for that conversation, because it's just stuff like, it's just kind of normal to us, it's just the way we have our room laid out. So it was really good to see that there was interest in it, and also a really big thank you because we were going to film, and we knew we were going to film and like take people through our, it's kind of like a scavenger hunt for grounding and stabilization, and because we knew we were going to take people through it, we kind of looked at it better and realized that some stuff wasn't as like clearly defined as it could have been, I guess. Like everything was around, but some stuff didn't have directions pointing to where it was. You just had to know it was there, which is okay for those of us that know, but like when you're in the middle of like being really destabilized or like dissociated or having flashbacks, you're not really going to remember. And also, we don't know who's going to front. Like somebody new could front and not know where any of this stuff is. So it's really helpful to have it pointed out to us that, like, just by being made aware of it and knowing we were going to film about it, made us think about how much sense it made, and made us like spend a little time making sure that it was clear, so that people in this system have it laid out really well for them when they need it too. So thanks, that's really appreciated. It's so good as well. It's like really nicely laid out. It took us a few hours to end up doing the notes and stuff. So I'm just going to do a room tour and take you around it, and hopefully if something in this video looks like a good idea, you can copy it and do it in your room, and maybe you'll have sort of, and maybe that'll help you in times when you need it with grounding, or just with distraction as well, I guess. Okay, room's a little dark. Is there anything I can do about that? Not really. Well, you start here because most people in this body so far, when they're distressed and stuff, they tend to orientate towards the door. So we put it here so that it's easy to see. So for a start, we've got these little cards that our partner got us that have like how you're feeling or what you need written on them, or the moods you're experiencing. And if somebody goes mute or can't speak in the moment, they can just point stuff out to the rest of us, or to anyone else in the room that they might be with. Or they could even take a picture of it and just send it to people. So it makes it kind of easier to communicate. And then you've got the safety and stabilization. So you start here. Not sure what's wrong, you start down this one. So it says, not sure what's wrong, that's okay. It can be super hard to tell sometimes. Just remember, you're safe, you're strong, and you're not alone. Shout out to the Infinity system for that, because it really helps to hear. Here's some things to check, and there's some stuff that might help. And then, if you do know what's wrong, try some of those. And we'll go to those in a second. So now we're just focusing on if you don't know what's wrong, because I think a lot of the time that's the case. Like somebody will know they feel bad and maybe they're distressed, but they don't know why. So checklist for feeling like, can I swear on this channel? Valum wrote that one out, so. You are safe, repeat. Have you had enough water? Have you got food in the body? Have you taken the vitamins? And then just replace that with your medication or anything you're supposed to be taking, I guess. Stretch and do some belly breathing techniques. Grounding exercises. Please refer to the skeleton hand ribbon painting, and there's a little arrow showing you to go this way. So if you need to know how to do grounding exercises, you walk, oh man, it's really unfocused. You walk over to the desk, and there's the picture Valen did, which says how to ground. So it's like 5 things you can see, 4 things you can, why am I reading it on the phone where it's so much harder? 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. And once you've done that, then you get led here, which is well done for grounding. Did that help enough to relax? If it did help a bit, you can try going over them again, because sometimes that's the case. Sometimes you need to go over the grounding exercises a few times. Oh, and for the grounding exercises, because there's a few of them that are like things you can touch, we've got loads of random stuff on the desk, like a really heavy metal dragon and a crystal, and like soft things and Lego things, and just a lot of sensory stuff to sort of mess with, because you kind of need different textures and stuff. And then for the things you can see, our walls are just covered in stuff. So you're never at a shortage of stuff to look at when you need to ground. There's always something that you can focus on in the room to bring you back. Ignore that, sorry about it. I hope it's not a slur word to any people reading. It's a word that Val and Ari really like to use for themselves. And there's pages with dragons on it and stuff, so we'll get to that in a bit. But anyway, there's loads of items that you can look at and loads of things you can touch. So once you've done all the grounding things, then it says you can go over them again, and you can check out this list of comfort shows if you're feeling like it. So then there's suggested stuff that we know is comforting for us to watch. For us, it's like Doctor Who seasons 1, 2. We're not sure when it stops being comforting. Maybe all of them, to be honest. Watership Down, I wouldn't suggest for most people, but Ari finds it comforting because he used to watch it. I think Valen finds it comforting as well, I'm not sure. Spirited Away, Avatar, just write whatever TV shows you find as comforting and grounding. Like, nostalgic, I guess. And then, if it's still too difficult, because maybe it helped enough to watch stuff, but maybe it didn't. So if it's still too difficult to sit and relax, you can head back to the safety and stabilisation wall and keep going. And one thing about this as well is, as you're walking around the room, you're kind of getting grounded to the room. So the fact that you're walking around and interacting with it kind of makes you more grounded to your surroundings as well. So there's a reason it's done like this. So then there's a tiny little "you are here" sign, so you know where to come back to. So self-care, you can try watching vlogs, and then we've got the names of people that are like safe to watch that might make us feel better. Art, make something. Listen to some music. Self-care playlist, which you can just click on our system playlist. Cuddle some dogs. Reach out and talk. Us inside, and then a bunch of safe people. And then, well done for doing so much. You're doing so well and taking care of the body so well, even though it's hard. Your efforts are seen and appreciated and important. How are you feeling now? Still not great? That's okay. It's okay to not feel okay sometimes. But you're not alone. We'll go through some things to help together. So then there's here. First, can you make decisions? Because you might be in a place where you can't make decisions. So like maybe some of those suggestions didn't help because you might just read art and be like, I can't decide what to do. Or maybe you just can't make yourself get started. Maybe you don't know what you need. So that's what this is for. If you're struggling to answer that, and that's why it's phrased like that, because if someone says, can you make decisions, and you're not sure, it'll be really obvious just from having it asked. To us, anyway. If you're struggling to answer that or know what to do, travel to the distraction dragons. Behind you 4 paces, just above eye level. Pick a dragon, and they'll guide you through some distracting activities that you can just follow along with. We're right here with you, even if you can't hear us right now. So then, you turn around and take 4 paces, 2, 3, 4. And you get to these. Oh, come on, focus. Which is just where the dragons are kept. So then there's this really obvious thing that just says, pick up the scroll to interact with the dragons. Because, involving all the senses is a really good way to ground. And it's not boring. It's sort of like, it might be, we're not sure what age range it's for, but I think littles would find it fun. I definitely find it fun when I'm age slid down. But I also think it's kind of just a good way to have like a nostalgic childlike bit of fun, even if you're older, so it kind of works for everyone. It's really hard to hold my phone and do this. I can't believe I could do it with one hand. Oh man. So then we've got, these took so long to burn and make them look good. Yeah, you've got the distraction dragon instructions. Man, that's hard to say. So it says, welcome room traveller. Well done for finding your way here. Hold on. Okay, nearly dropped my phone, but other than that, we're good. Well done for finding your way here. Now pick the dragon guide that will help you most. For pent-up energy, restlessness, take the scroll from Fang. He's holding a sword, ready to help you channel that fight or flight response into something positive. Pick a number from 1 to 16 before you open the scroll, or have Google help with a random number generator if you can't decide. And then, just go back to this guy. I don't know why he's called Fang, it's just what he's named. And you take the little mini scroll off him. And then normally you don't have a phone to balance as well, so it's a lot easier. You probably don't even have to come over to the desk to do it if you're not holding a phone. Hold on. I think that's better for lighting. So say 5. So there's loads of suggestions of stuff. Like, in this one I think it's podcast. That'd be for me, because I like doing stuff like that when I'm hyper. Paint or wall decorate, walk dogs, new exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, so 5. Okay, that one needs more instruction, because what the heck is learn and tell 2p game? I understand every other one about this, other than the one I chose. Learn and tell. I've got such vague memories for this. I'm going to make a note for us to write down what that means. But for now, let's pretend I picked another number, because what the heck is 2p game? If I'd picked 6, it would be clean the room for a bit, or clean a room for a bit. So this is just sort of stuff like organize a drawer, create a game. There's sort of stuff in this one that's more active, I guess. But obviously, if you did something like this, you'd write down suggestions that you know help you. So this is just stuff for pent-up energy and needing to do something and to get moving, but like not being able to make the decision yourself of what that is. So you just pick a number and then you just go do it. And the way it's laid out kind of motivates you and makes you more likely to just get on without thinking about stuff. So there's none of the in-between sort of stuff that makes it hard to focus on, I guess, because you just got told to do it. And I mean, who's going to say no to a dragon? You seen this guy? He's got a sword and everything. I'm sure they're friendly. Okay. And then I won't show you all of them because we'd be here all day, but it's basically all laid out like that. And these notes just tell you which dragon's good for which time. So for gentle, low effort, contemplative activities, take a scroll from thought, which is one on the bookshelf. Pick a number from 1 to 22. That's that one. And then the next one's like for tasks that aren't very exact, like they're open to a bit of interpretation. So it just has like one letter things like cook, clean, draw. Like you could just yeah, it's open to interpretation. That's that one. And if you don't know what you want and you can't make a decision between anyone, you just pick that guy because his scroll has like a random mix of everything on it. So if you're going to do this yourself, you just find like different activities that would help you in different states and write them down for one. Like, I mean, you don't have to do dragon scrolls, but whatever you do, you just put activities for that kind of mood in that one, count up how many's on there, and then on the instruction telling you, like on those instructions, it's just pick a number between 1 and however many suggestions you've got on your list. And that's just sort of so it's all set up, it's all worked out, and the only thing the person has to do is follow along. So if they need distracting but they can't decide what to do, that could be really helpful. And then you could, I mean, in theory, there are so many dragons and so many scrolls, you could spend hours there. So we kind of just left that as like the end of that section. So that's how you deal with if you're distressed but you don't know and you need guidance. And you could just spend so long doing that. But what's next? If you get down here, so you don't know what's wrong, but you can make decisions, then it's different. So you can make decisions right now, but you just need prompts or suggestions. That's cool, we all need that sometimes. To have a look at these booklets and match your symptoms to the booklet, then check out for stuff that'll help with a specific issue. Because the thing is, being asked questions can be really overwhelming in some states, which is why the dragons are there, because you don't have to think, you don't have to make decisions, you don't have to like match your symptoms or think about how you feel. All you have to do is follow instruction, and that can be really grounding and helpful. But sometimes you can work out what's wrong, and maybe you just need somebody to go through what it could be. So then there's these booklets. Does this sound like how you feel right now? Inability to sleep, rest, relax, or slow down, difficulty concentrating, irritability, anger, angry outbursts, panic, constant anxiety, easily scared or startled, hypervigilant, frantic and buzzy, gotta keep busy, fast heartbeat and breathing, heavy sense of guilt or shame. If this sounds like you might be in hyperarousal, so you could try. And then this booklet's filled with stuff that helps when you're in a hyperaroused state to kind of bring you back down to within a window of tolerance. So for us, we've got it symptom by symptom for this one. So for relaxing and unwinding and sleep, there's deep breathing exercises, poetry. There's an English poetry app on the phone. You can take a Calm tablet, which is just this herbal, like, I think it's chamomile and stuff. But it can help you relax and sleep, and you can just take it at night. Try a warm nighttime tea. We've got one with lavender in it that really helps. There's a massager by the wall side of the bed. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little black blob thing over there behind the pillow. You just plug it in. Where am I? Soft lights, which I don't know if you could tell, but we've got them all the time. It's just I've got the lamp on so I can read. I'll show you them at some point after this. Oh man, come on, focus. Focus. You can do it, phone. I believe in you. I believe in you. Yeah! My belief worked. So, heavy blanket, tight wrap, soft music. There's a sleep playlist on the phone or YouTube. Sleep/relaxing music. Audiobooks or podcasts, and there's an app on the phone. Reading. The shelves to your right, because if you didn't have the phone, you'd still be stood where I got this off the wall. Have books for littles and teens. Some books behind you are for teens too. Suggestions of yoga. So, over there we've got loads of different books, but we got stuff like Mr. Man and, what is it, Beatrice Potter or something? Winnie the Pooh, I'll blind you, sorry. Winnie the Pooh Behind the Light, and, like, then teen novels and stuff. So there's something that everyone should like. I think there's a bunch of queer books up there as well. For the others, because we got a lot of queer people in the system who like that word, I should add. That's a self-IDing word in this system. So then, difficulty concentrating. There's apps on the phone. Kairi just found one that's like a colour by numbers thing called Happy Colour. Apparently that's really good and really helpful. I'll link everything we suggest in terms of apps and stuff. I'll link it in the video description. Then there's Intellect, which is, I don't know how to explain it. It's really good. It's got like short little rescue sessions on it. So you can click, like, it'll guide you through stuff for if you're feeling overwhelmed or angry or you want to work a problem out. And just stuff like that. And then it's got daily things, so it's kind of useful. Yoga, mindfulness coach, but trigger warning for those ones because body awareness exercises and meditation stuff might make things worse for some people or can randomly unlock memories. So, like, yoga and mindfulness coach help some of us and they're really bad for others. So that's kind of a thing that you need to be aware of, I guess, if it helps you or not. Remove excess input. Just switch on one light, no noise. Focus on one simple task. Journal or write how you feel in a phone notepad. It doesn't have to make sense. So you've got all of these symptoms kind of laid out, bit by bit, with suggestions for each. Anger, or using the energy. Crying if you can. You're safe and crying is a great coping mechanism. Vigorous exercise or dancing to music. Punching a pillow or Squirtle's shell, because we've got a giant Squirtle that's got a really hard, padded shell. Not like hard, but like harder than a pillow. Message our partner. Oops, I might have to blur his name. I don't know if he wants it online. Talk to D or Valen inside. Write how you feel and rip it up. Scribble, paint or pastel art. Scream into a pillow. Sit-ups. Lift weights by the bed. Have D guide you on posture. Just because he does it anyway, so you may as well tell them to ask. So, if you're in a hyper-aroused state, you got all of those things that you can go through symptom by symptom to help. Oops. Or you might decide that you feel more like this, which is emotionally numb, sleepy, exhaustion, fatigue, empty, paralyzed, frozen, deflated, crushed by an invisible force. So even so, breathing is almost too much effort, pointless, hopeless. And if this sounds right, you could be in hypoarousal. So you could try. And then it's the same thing again. but just with stuff that helps for hypoarousal. Sensory-based activities. Smelling essential oils, singing, cuddling dogs, using Modo. Modo's great, I'd definitely link that in the description. It's basically just like therapy dough, like Play-Doh, but it's got, it combines aromatherapy and stuff as well, because it's got essential oils in it, so it's really relaxing. Spray nice perfume, light a candle and blow it out. Take a bath, wash the face, music and sway or dance, gently rocking, heavy blanket, squish a stuffy toy. It's just stuff that people can try, really, that we know works for our system, so definitely feel free to change the suggestions around for your system, but the main thing is to have the distinction between hyper and hypoarousal, because there's some different things that will help with both. But you can just Google what sort of things will help, and you can kind of tell from the way we've laid stuff out here, like, what's more helpful. Like, you're bringing it down from hyperarousal, and you're trying to kind of raise it for hypoarousal, so anything that falls into those categories you can add as an activity. Oh, find the sensory dragon. This one's great. On the bookshelf behind you, because you'd be stood over there still without the phone. On the shelf next to the distraction dragons. And then you can stroke his fur, pose him, chew the chewy stem he's holding, hold the big key he's guarding for you. So just loads of sort of sensory tactile things that you can mess with to help you ground a bit better. Check out his hordes of sensory stuff in his leather bags and pouches. So you'd go over here and find the sensory dragon, which is that guy. And he's got soft, sort of fuzzy fur. He's poseable. He's got a rubber chew stem that you can chew on. He's holding a really big key. Can I just get you off? Thank you. Let's put you there for a sec. So you can mess with him. Just any sensory toy, really, that you like. Anything that's got loads of things to mess with. Doesn't even have to be a toy, but it's just we know we've got littles on a system that will be helped by that. There's a really heavy metal key, which is just cold and nice to hold. It's really good at, like, reorientating you to the present. And then there's his bags of stuff. So there's this, which I think has got lavender essential oil on one side. And it's been sprayed with the partner's perfume already, so it smells like that. And then it's got other sensory things, like I think it's got aftershave cream and, what's it called? Lip gloss that's flavoured. And then the other bag has... Oh, and also there's Dee's spray deodorant thing there, and then there's this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it with one hand. So it's just like a whole shelf of sensory stuff for hypoarousal. We'll bring it back up. This thing is just... kind of bugs me not to do it all the way through, but this video is going to be long as is. And rather than just listening to music, you know, you've got some control over it and you've got to kind of create it, so I think that helps in situations where people are feeling distressed. Oh man. I should get something to stick the phone on my head while I'm filming, like a tripod or something to just... head camera. This stuff's hard to do with one hand. You kind of get a pretty good sense of achievement, to be honest, doing all this stuff anyway, because it's not... like, some stuff's really instant, quick access for emergencies. But some of this stuff you gotta kind of find, so you get a bit of dopamine because you've done it. There's loads of really tiny Lego bricks, although choking warning for littles, but hopefully somebody will always be co-con with a little anyway. Just Lego to play with. And then there's these, which are like, you're supposed to like roll them around, both of them. I'm not going to be able to do it. And it's kind of grounding and soothing. Then there's an ocarina, so you can play music, not necessarily good music, but you can make a noise come out, and that's the point. Little posable rubbers, some Play-Doh, Should have Modo in here really, but it needs replacing. A squishy bear that you can make look really panicked. A yo-yo. And it's basically just like stuff to engage your tactile sense. So that's what's on the hypoarousal sensory dragon shelf. We just cleaned the room and I'm messing it all up again. I'll put it away when I'm done. Then you can drink water or tea through a straw, chew some crunchy food, middle office drawer on the right hand side, which is that drawer because we just keep some food in there and stuff, like chocolate fingers or dried nuts, just anything that can, like cupboard food, I guess. Do some finger painting. Paints are in the top desk drawer or on the desktop above it in a wooden box. Look left and you'll see them, which if you were standing in the place you took this off, you would. So there's a box of paints there and a box of paints there, and then pens and tons of paints all in there. Canvas and paper is in the bottom drawer. Explore the top drawer for all kind of art stuff. Oven baked clay is in the bottom drawer too. Oven baked clay is really easy to access. That's a great sensory thing if you're not feeling great as well. Play-Doh is good if you're not focused on making something, but that's really fun if you want to keep something or make something to keep it. And then there's loads of weird stuff in here, like that's like a wax making set. I don't even know how to explain it. Not like a seal you put on letters. It's basically one of those that like envelope sealing. There's loads of calligraphy stuff and calligraphy pens and ink. And that's a big drawer of a big thing of case, that's the word. It's a big case of chalk and oil pastels. So there's loads of different mediums and loads of different things you can do involving all senses and different coloured paper and different textured paper. So it's all kind of easy to find. And because it's laid out with the symptoms being matched to these booklets, you'll always find something to help for the state you're in, rather than having to trial and error. Because before, it was just a case of, like, kind of trialing and erroring around the place and going, oh, some stuff helps, some stuff doesn't, and you can write down what helps, but then other times it wouldn't help. And the thing is, what we didn't realise was that the distress could be from, well, it can be from a lot of different things, but the easiest way to separate it is hyperarousal to hypoarousal. So that's why the activities are laid out like this, because if you match your symptoms to the booklet, then the stuff in that booklet is to help with that state. And even though the symptoms of that state can vary, you've kind of got enough symptoms there to have a good chance of getting it right. So that's what you do. That's what all this side is, basically. It just guides you through what to do if you don't know what's wrong and you can't make decisions, or if you don't know what's wrong but you can make decisions and work out your symptoms. And then the middle bit, because let's say you went through here and you got to here and you were like, if you do know what's wrong, try one of those. And there's a middle bit here that's like, that's kind of eye-catching in the middle, just in case you can't focus enough to go through any of this. Just some super fast distraction ideas and suggestions. Turn left, open the top or bottom desk drawers right there. Explore some weird arts and crafts stuff. So you just instantly, you're distressed, you see that, you go, yeah, okay, and you can just dive on it and grab it like a, oh man, what's the word? Lifeline. Or open the small wooden middle drawer by your shins all the way and grab the DS and some games. And the reason it's written like this as well is when you're grounding, the way we were taught to do it was you name characteristics about an item, like that glass is cold, that glass is clear, that glass has lines all over it, and then when you go round for the second time, you should go over items a couple of times, you say, you really focus on the fact that you're in the same room as that glass, you're right here, right now, with that glass. So the way everything's written is very like the desk to your left, the drawer by your shins, so I'm kind of hopefully guiding people through grounding as it goes. Then this is the middle bits just for random stuff that might help, like changes in the environment you can make to make it a cozy and safe space. You can switch on the fairy lights. I don't know if you can tell there's lights all going on around us, but we've got a remote for them right here, and you can change the color. Don't let me press the wrong button. Oh man, that's a creepy color. And it just makes it easier to change your environment and therefore change the tone of everything. It gives you some control over it as well, so that could be helpful. There's loads of fairy lights, like above the desk and there, although those ones' batteries need replacing, and across the back of there, but those ones' batteries need replacing too. So anyway, it just tells you with arrows where all of those lights are and how to switch them on, and suggests things you can do to change the environment, like open a window for a breeze, snuggle in bed with a stuffy. Stuffies are there, emergency stuffies are there, other stuffies are there. And that's a giant Squirtle, which you can punch. Just the shell though, because otherwise Ari tells you off for punching Squirtle in the face, which Valen's done a few times. Put on fuzzy PJs and an arrow pointing to the cupboard, so it shows you where they are. Put on soft music and it shows where the stereo is. So arrows telling you how to do all these things. Then that's like tapping points, which I think the theory of it is you tap pressure points like lightly and you repeat something like even though I'm distressed, I know I'll be okay, or something like that. It always starts with even though. I don't get it that well, but it does help when you do it. So that's just like the points you're supposed to tap. I think you tap it like 5 times. I'll try and leave a link to explain that as well. And then on the right hand side is like stuff for if you know what's wrong. So tips for grounding, and there's some stuff to try. So for this, I'd just print off a few things that helped for like grounding and coping with flashbacks. I had to change all the pronouns, if you're wondering, to neutral ones. That's what that writing is. And that's just specific. And struggling with, trigger warning for mentions of self-harm, but nothing in detail. And then, yeah, if you're struggling with thoughts of self-harm, reach behind the bed for a list of distraction ideas. You're incredible. I'm so proud of you and impressed by you and your strength. I love you. And then behind the bed, there's this print off, which is from first person plural, I think. But I'll leave a link in the description as well. We just printed that out, and it has loads of really good distraction ideas. It's like pages and pages, like alternatives for when you're feeling angry and restless, alternatives for like that make you feel like you're seeing blood, if that's what you need. Like, it kind of gets the different reasons people might do it and tries to give you suggestions that'll work for everything there. So I think that's it. I think we're through to the end of it now, and I really hope that this video has been helpful. I hope that it's given you some ideas of ways that you can lay out your room to kind of make it easier for people in the moment when things are difficult to ground and come back. Another thing about our room as well is like there's stuff all over the walls to look at. That's obviously for grounding. No matter where you are, you can see something. Oh, there's a heater that could be switched on. And there's like loads of positive self-affirmation postcards from shout out to the Papa artist. They're the nicest person, queer friendly content creator. If you subscribe, like become a Patreon, you get sent stuff every month. So we've got stuff just kind of hanging around so we can look at really positive things every time we're feeling bad. That's just notes because we need notes to send to each other half the time. And then the mirror's hung at a level where you can't actually see yourself unless you're wearing like big tall shoes, because looking in the mirror can be a horrible trigger for depersonalization to some people in this system. So just things like that. Our entire environment is set up to be safe and to be able to help when people aren't feeling safe. Hopefully it's just giving you some ideas of stuff that can help your system. I'm so tired. We spent all day like cleaning and organizing stuff because we wanted to throw out a bunch of stuff and make it like really nice in here for New Year's. So we were doing that all day. And then cooking. I'm just really tired, so sorry if I've missed anything, but yeah, that's how it's laid out for us, and I really hope that it's helped to give you and your system some ideas of stuff you can do and some ways you can have measures in place for dark days, I guess, to try and make it easier for people to use healthy coping mechanisms in those moments. I hope you're all taking care. Oh, and I hope you have a great new year. I hope you had a good Christmas if you separate it. Separate it? Celebrate it. I'm too tired. I'm gonna stop. Take care, folks.